This is Mrs. O'Neill for Chapter 9, Section 2, Part 3, your Ionic Compounds Practice Problems. So you should have out your ion chart periodic table and your real periodic table. Why am I telling you to take out your real periodic table? Well, see how many of these you can do without using that ion chart. Now that you know how to name metals, you know how to name nonmetals, you probably even know some polyatomic ions because you've seen them now quite often. So see how many you can do without actually using that ion chart. Remember, these are all the compounds all mixed up. So you have binary ionic compounds. Again, starts with a metal, ends with a nonmetal. However, some of those metals are going to have multiple charges. And now you're also going to see those compounds with polyatomic ions. So there's a handful where you have to write the formulas and a handful where you have to name those compounds. So this is what I strongly suggest you do. Do the first five of formula to name. Then you're going to play the video to check your answers. If you got all those right, you probably can do the rest of those formulas to name pretty confidently. However, if you got some wrong, star the ones you got wrong if you still don't understand why you got them wrong. Then do another 5. Then play the video and check your answers. So you're going to do this over and over and over again until you kind of get them, hopefully understand and get all 5 right at one shot. Then I would do the same kind of thing for name to formula. So on the name to formula column, hopefully again, you'll do 5. If you get them all right, maybe finish them off. But if you are starting to get some wrong, especially if you're not understanding why you're getting them wrong, star those so that you can ask me or, again, another classmate in class for an explanation. All right, so again, if you have questions, please come see me or another classmate while you're doing your book work, especially if you're having difficulty. You could also re-watch some of those prior videos to get a better understanding of those examples, especially those that have multiple charges and especially those that have polyatomic ions. That's why we kind of did that extensively in that first section of this chapter, getting that better understanding of how those multiple charges and polyatomic ions work. So at this point, I would pause the video, see if you can do these 5, and then I'm just going to kind of click along here and give you those answers. So hopefully you tried these 5, and those are the answers. Again, pause. Make sure that your endings are correct, and make sure you have those Roman numerals correct as well. It has to look exactly like these names in order to be correct. All right, now let's look at the next 5 again. Hopefully you paused and you tried them. Again, look very meticulous on Roman numerals and endings and make sure that if yours are not exactly like this, it is wrong. Next 5. There you go, your answers. Next 5. Hopefully you paused and tried these on your own. And at this point, hopefully it's getting a little easier and you're getting these correct. Again, star the ones that you're not with questions. And I do see that I have sometimes capital letters and sometimes small letters. At this point, it really doesn't matter in the naming if you have capital letters for the names of those parts of the compound or lowercase. It doesn't matter. It will, however, matter when we're doing the formulas, okay? From name to formula, you will need to make sure that you have your capital letters and your smaller lowercase letters written properly. All right, now, speaking of that, now we're going the other way. So pause, see if you can come up with your formulas for these compounds. Hopefully you paused and came up with these. Again, you have to be meticulous. Here, you need to make sure that your capitals are big letters and your lower cases are little letters. You also need to make sure that you have the parentheses properly. And if I do not see parentheses, like in number 23, there is no parentheses around hydrogen sulfate. That means there cannot be parentheses in your answer. It has to look exactly like this in order to be correct. All right, here's the next 5. Hopefully you paused, you tried them out, and got these answers. Again, pause, making sure that your numbers are low to the ground. Make sure your capitals are capitals, your lowercase are lowercase, and if you need those parentheses. Next 5. There's the answers. Again, that cobalt, make sure that little o is a little o, because a big O is a big, big difference. And 5 more. Hopefully you paused and got those as an answer. Remember that 40, I know I left it to the end, but you should have reduced number 40. All right, we'll see you in class for questions, comments, frustrations. Hopefully it's kind of clicking, because now we're going to go on to the next kind of compound.